Welcome to One-on-One with Expert Flyer. This is your host, Lisa Caslin, and today we're talking to Robin Barton, who is one of the publishers at Lonely Planet, and we asked him to come on because they're coming out with a pretty cool book over the next month called the Digital Nomad Handbook. And before I go on, let me just invite Robin to say hi. How you doing, Robin?
Hi, Lisa. Hello.
Hi. Thanks so much for joining. We were chatting just, a couple of minutes ago about, the trend that many companies have been adopting for one reason or another towards working from home, a virtual office space. And I thought it would be interesting. We've done stuff on this before, but it's been a while. And I thought it would be interesting to talk about, this notion of, extreme telecommuting. And, the book really offers a lot of great information, including some unusual suggestions on where to do this. So why don't you first start off by telling us, why now? What made you guys decide to put a book out like this now?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We felt that there was not just a lot of interest in people sort of wanting to, I guess, explore the world a bit more, but on their own terms and more independently. But also that the tools and technology was allowing people to be able to work from other places far more easily now. So, the whole interconnectedness of the internet and online working has really enabled people to go a bit further. And I think companies are catching up as well. And so being able to work from home is one thing, but if there's no reason why you can't also work from other countries, other cities. And a lot of those cities are encouraging people, digital nomads, to visit and stay and work there and contribute. So it just felt that it was that kind of crossroads where attitudes and technology have sort of combined.
That's awesome. So tell me now, aside from being a travel blogger, what are a few of the ideal careers that are best suited to this type of work and life arrangement?
I think one of the pieces of advice that we give in the book, and we approached and worked with a number of very well established digital nomads who run their own sort of online blogs, as well as our own travel writers who for decades have been traveling and settling and working in other countries. But one of the pieces of advice is to kind of build on the skills that you already have. So there are lots of industries or I guess professions that are now sort of opening up to the idea of working from remotely. So they're not just the sort of digital professions such as sort of SEO marketing, for example, or graphic design or web design, which are sort of fairly sort of well-known sort of digital nomad trades. But I think you're also finding that people working in accountancy or law can easily do that remotely. I think a lot of people work in different time zones these days, so it doesn't really matter when what time of day it is where you are, and there's video conferencing and so on that enables people in those sorts of professions to work remotely. And in addition to that, a lot of creative professions as well. So writing and graphic design are a couple of examples. Content developing. There are also people like teachers, for example, English as a foreign language or foreign language teaching. But I think the main thing is to sort of figure out what skills you have and how they could be applied if you want to work remotely. And in most cases, building on your existing experience is a good start.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm just curious. Let's say you do fall into one of those categories that it would work for. I mean, once you're in your destination, how are you getting work? I mean, assuming that you're, sort of a freelancer and you're not, gainfully employed with a large, corporation. I guess you would maybe use Upworks or one of these platforms that places folks who are interested in gig work.
Absolutely, that's definitely an option. And I think another trend that we've been witnessing over the last few years is the way that people sort of become their own brand in a sense, and social media again allows us to have a profile and enables people to find us if they need us. So building a profile, depending on your profession, but building a profile online is also really useful. But there are, as you say, a number of sort of fairly well-established platforms that allow freelancers to pitch for work. I would say the other thing is to create I think what every freelancer really wants is regular clients. So creating a pool of reliable and trusted clients who value your work is always a good thing.
Right. That's a tried and true business practice, right?
Exactly. It's not it's not groundbreaking. Just sort of building relationships and also networking as well is important, and you can do that both wherever you are really.
Actually, that is interesting. How would if one is a native English speaker in a foreign country and they want to network, are you suggesting sort of virtual networking or maybe connecting with expats in that country?
I think both of those are good tactics. There are obviously sort of online networking tools. Some sort of very big social media companies are involved in that. As part of the book, we recommend several places, about a dozen destinations around the world that are particularly well set up for digital nomads. So they can be cities like Lisbon, for example, or Tbilisi in Georgia, or certain countries as well. But those cities will offer communities of sort of workers, expats, and so on. So by focusing on particularly digital nomad friendly cities to start with, you're giving yourself an advantage. And wherever there's a community, there'll be people who can help you or share contacts or and so on, and it's all mutually beneficial. We do suggest start places to start, and then when you get a bit more confident and a bit more experienced, you can go further afield and really as far as you want to go.
I think that brings us to the really burning question. What are those cities that you guys are recommending as really good spots for digital nomads? And you have probably a dozen of them, right, or so. Why don't you talk about a few of them, maybe the top 3 or 4?
Well, yes, I think the first thing to consider really. There are a number of things to consider. So your language skills are one criteria. Different places will have different visa requirements, and some cities and countries have recently relaxed or their visa requirements. You don't want to be renewing your visa every 3 months or so. But I think it sort of depends what your sort of personal preference is. So I think one of the places that puts digital nomadism on the map is Canggu in Bali in Indonesia. So if you're really into beach life, that could be a good destination. A lot of these places that are particularly well suited to digital nomads have affordable living costs and very sort of a wide range of accommodation options. Another popular European destination is Lisbon. So Lisbon really encourages tech-focused careers and opportunities. So there's good sort of infrastructure in that sense, and a lot of sort of fellow. So if you have technology-based skills, you'll find a lot of sort of similar people there. Again, in Europe, both Tbilisi in Georgia and Tallinn in Estonia have relaxed their visa requirements for digital nomads. So it's easier to visit those cities for longer and to work there as well. And then in Asia, Chiang Mai is another popular city with digital nomads. There's a lot of cheap accommodation. There's a really good Wi-Fi and delicious food. Thailand, yes. Chiang Mai and sort of northern Thailand, yeah.
Okay. So, I guess that was going to be my other question. All of these recommendations, I assume, offer really good Wi-Fi.
That's pretty much a given. Wi-Fi does vary, but most places that digital nomads will be looking at will have very fast broadband Wi-Fi.
Yeah. And then how do you have any sort of I guess first person testimonials to how did it all come together? How did it work? Was it was it as good as they thought it would be, or what were some of the pitfalls that they weren't expecting? What are some of the things that folks who are considering jumping into something like this? What are some of the unexpected things, good or bad, associated with making a big move like this?
I think we asked one of our very experienced writers to put this together. So Joe Bindloss has been on the road for Lonely Planet for many years, and he's also worked in the office. And if anyone knows, how to work on the road, it was Joe. He had a lot of help from people like Matthew Kepnes, who is the writer and founder of Nomadic Map, for example. So Matt contributed to the book. And Jazzy Mass as well, who is the founder of blackdigitalnomad.com. I think something that's some of them have said is sometimes it's that sort of lack of confidence in their own sort of ability, or just a general self-doubt was what held some of them back. And that's what this book aims to overcome. So, I think after reading the book, you should feel much more able to deal with what it means to be a digital nomad. And I think maybe some of the other sort of difficulties they faced would maybe things like sort of loneliness, or how to keep in touch with friends and family, because most of your friends and family will still be back home. So we have a lot of good tips about those sorts of relationships. And perhaps the third thing is just sort of being prepared. So don't jump into it, but look at how will you organize your finances? What kind of paperwork do you need to get finished? Where do you stand with taxes and visas and all that? Difficult but essential stuff. So I think that was a really useful tip from everybody. And we do cover lots of advice about dealing with that sort of stuff.
Awesome. All right. So if folks want to pick up a copy when it's available, they can just check out your site and they'll probably find it there, right? Is it lonelyplanet.com?
Yes, correct. There's lonelyplanet.com, and there's a shop online. It'll also be widely available in bookstores and on other online retail sites. Okay,
and it's the Digital Nomad Handbook. Look for it, folks. It's a really comprehensive guide, and as Robin said, it will empower you to make that move. We thank you so much for your time, Robin. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Lisa.
Take care.